6:45 a.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj and read by Mario Vijayavardhana. The headlines. Relief for big onion prices as the special commodity levy rate reduced. Minister Ali Sabri met the Sri Lankan Bangladesh business community in Bangladesh. The Treasury rules out the conduct of parties and functions at state expense to mark the retirement of public sector officials, opening ceremonies and assuming of duty functions. The revenue increased in the foreign mail division of the Postal Department. Power cuts increased for the next 2 days. Sri Lanka plans to end power cuts next year. Litro to release limited gas stocks to the market until Wednesday. In news overseas, Italy landslide, rescuers search for missing people on Ischia Island. In sports news, Japan failed to take another step towards the World Cup knockout rounds as Keisha Fuller's late goal earned Costa Rica a remarkable victory. The Food Policy Committee that met on the 24th of November has recommended to reduce the Special Commodity Tax SCL rate. Accordingly, increasing the ability to buy big onions in the market will help to reduce the price of big onions. The national requirement for big onions is about 300,000 MT per annum, which is mainly fulfilled by imports of 86%. Accordingly, the self-sufficient ratio amounts to 14%. The retail prices of imported big onions varied between 290 to 390 rupees and the price of local big onions varied between 340 to 400 rupees per kilogram as of the third week of November. The average CIF of imported big onions was 95.3 rupees per kilo in the third week of November, and it has only shown a relatively modest increase since mid-August 2022. The government increased the applicable SCL on imported big onions from 10 rupees per kilo to 50 rupees per kilo from the 22nd of September 2022 onwards. Subsequently, the imports of big onions started to fall drastically. Imports fell from 27,889 MT in August to only 13,496 MT in November. This drop in availability pushed up the price of imported big onions from about 175 rupees per kilo in August to 328 rupees per kilo in week 3 of November. Nevertheless, a sharp drop in the price is evident from the 22nd of November to 250 rupees per kilo. However, prices still remain high compared to the period leading up to the SCL increase. It is important to note that the CIF of imported big onions has only increased slightly since August. Hence, the sudden hike in prices can be attributed to the increase in the SCL rate in September. The Ministry of Finance has advised the government institutions to stop expenses in connection with government functions, events, the assuming of duty functions, opening ceremonies, and retirement and farewell events. The Treasury prohibits the conduct of parties and functions at state expense to mark the retirement of public sector officials. The Secretary to the Government Treasury, Mahinda Sirivardhana, issued a circular spelling out the guidelines restricting the use of state money for such events. Accordingly, officials are restricted to organize opening ceremonies, functions for officials assuming duties, get-togethers and similar events at state expense. The circular has been issued to Ministry Secretaries, Chief Secretaries of Provincial Councils, Heads of Departments, District Secretaries, Heads of State-owned enterprises, and Heads of State-run banks. The Treasury said that they have been advised to ensure that funds are not misused as they are responsible for the funds of the respective institutions. A senior Treasury official said the move came after reports that some of the senior public sector employees, including secretaries and heads of state-owned enterprises, were planning to have functions at the end of December. Some of them at five-star hotels to mark their retirement at state expense, the Treasury official added. In case if these functions are held in hotels, then the total expenses should be borne by the individuals who are involved in this event. It is learnt that there are about 1,000 farewell parties to be held at the end of this year due to the government announcement of reducing the retirement age from 65 to 60. The Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka PUCSL has approved power cuts of 2 hours and 20 minutes today and tomorrow. Accordingly, the power cuts will be imposed as follows for the next 2 days. Groups A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V and W, 1 hour during the daytime and 1 hour and 20 minutes during the night. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Department of Post says that an increase in the number of postal items sent from Sri Lanka to foreign countries through the Postal Department has been observed. The Department of Posts has taken measures to increase foreign postage fees from the 1st of August, and comparing to that, the postage fees of the private courier companies were also raised at high rates. As a result, the number of postal items sent to foreign countries through the department has increased and the income has also raised accordingly, the Deputy Postmaster General Rajitha Ranasinghe said. The State Minister for Higher Education has recommended for more hostels for university students to control the congestion of the university students in the existing hostels. State Minister Dr. Suren Raghavan said the government focuses on this issue and is taking appropriate action based on the 1978-16 Act. The State Minister also understood that many students in the hostels are not engaged in lecture programs, but they are involved in political activities. The State Minister also promised that a few steps will be taken in the future to prevent this culture and menace. Sri Lanka's Power and Energy Minister Kanchana Wijesekara on Saturday said that he will take all the possible measures to ensure uninterrupted power supply by January next year. Sri Lanka has been experiencing daily power cuts since February 2022, and at one point the power cuts spanned for 13 hours, which are now down to around 2 hours a day. Talking to journalists, the minister said that they have taken steps to drastically reduce power cuts in the last few months. However, he points out that it is impossible to do that without revising electricity charges, saying that it is best to revise the electricity bill every year in the months of January and June. Mr. Wijesekara also said that they plan on boosting the renewable energy sectors in 2023 and that this is the best source of power for Sri Lanka. The Litro Gas Company says that limited LP gas stocks will be released to the market until Wednesday. The chairman of the company, Mudita Piri, stated that the reason for this is the high demand during the festive season and the delay in the arrival of the ordered gas shipments to the island. However, several gas shipments are scheduled to arrive in the island by the 30th of November, the chairman said, mentioning that the gas distribution will be carried out as usual after the ships undergo the unloading process. Furthermore, he points out that orders of 34,000 MTs of LP gas have been made for December. From there on, the ships will continue to arrive until January. The Litro Gas Company does not see a shortage of gas, but with the festive season in December, we observe that the demand is increasing to a high value, he added. The Litro Gas Company has distributed 42,000 cylinders to the market with restrictions, the chairman said, adding that they are releasing the cylinders with restrictions rather than a shortage.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Minister Ali Sabri met the Sri Lankan Bangladesh business community in Bangladesh. The meeting was held recently at the official residence of the Sri Lankan High Commissioner Sudarman Seneviratne. The minister also met the Bangladeshi business community at this venue. The meeting focused on strengthening the bilateral business relationship between the two countries, and special attention was drawn on the possible investment opportunities in Sri Lanka. There are around 80 mega-level Sri Lankan businessmen operating in Bangladesh at present. The diplomatic relations between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh also witness the 50th Golden Year Jubilee celebrated this year.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by
Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission.
A rapid increase of vehicle theft is being reported during the last few months to the police, with motorcycle thefts topping the list. The total number of vehicle thefts and robberies reported within the first 9 months of this year has already surpassed the total cases reported last year alone. Accordingly, a total of 1,405 vehicle thefts have been reported to the police in 2021. The police said 9 buses, 6 vans, 10 lorries, 34 cars, 353 three-wheelers, 975 motorbicycles and 18 other vehicles were stolen last year.
Please be aware on institutes, registration and accreditation when you are selecting vocational courses which leads to achieve your future career goals. Do not waste your valuable time and money. Confirm institutes, registration and accreditation by TVEC. For more information, visit nearest district divisional secretariat offices and meet career guidance practitioners or skill development officers. Message from Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission.
World News, brought to you by courtesy of...
We give you the strength to rise higher and higher.
Never step back, but always march forward.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
In world news headlines, China COVID protesters openly urge Xi to resign over China COVID curbs. Italy landslide rescuers search for missing people on the Ischia island. The head of the Royal Navy defends the handling of rape allegations. Protests in China against the government's strict COVID measures have intensified, with some people publicly venting their anger at the Communist Party leaders. Thousands of protesters have turned out in Shanghai, where the BBC has seen people bundled into police cars. Students have also demonstrated at universities in Beijing and Nanjing. The latest unrest follows a protest in the remote northwest city of Urumqi, where lockdown rules were blamed after 10 people died in a tower block fire. Rescue teams in Italy are still searching for missing people after a massive mudslide on the island of Ischia near Naples destroyed homes and dragged cars into the sea. 3 people have been confirmed dead, several others remain unaccounted for. More than 100 firefighters as well as divers and earth-moving units have been deployed in Ischia, Italy's Interior Minister Matteo Piantedosi said. The head of the Royal Navy has defended the way this service handles allegations of rape and sexual abuse. Sir Ben Key told the BBC Radio's 4 broadcasting house the Navy had changed how it investigates complaints. The First Sea Lord insisted independent investigations would be slower and lead to less good outcomes. And now the main points of the World News segment. China COVID protesters openly urge Xi to resign over China COVID curbs. Italy landslide rescuers search for missing people on the Ischia island. Head of the Royal Navy defends handling of rape allegations. That was World News.
World News, brought to you by courtesy of...
Amidst all challenges, we will rally around you and advance.
In the face of hardships, let's stand strong together.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
And now in development news, Sri Lanka will earn around $1.2 billion from tea exports for 2023, exporting around 260 million kilos recently. The SLTB is forecasting a modest growth for 2023 in comparison to the current year, estimating an increased production of 290 million kgs, with export revenues expected to increase to $1.4 billion due to the depreciation of the rupee against the dollar during the first half of the year and a shortage of tea. Sales caught up and auction prices increased sharply from March 2022. Despite fuel shortages and logistic issues, the regional plantation companies and smallholders have been able to continue the harvesting of green leaves throughout the year. When compared to 2020 and 2021, the green leaf price to smallholders has increased exponentially from July 2022 onwards. That was development news, and now in sports news. In soccer, Japan failed to take another step towards the World Cup knockout rounds as Keisha Fuller's late goal earned Costa Rica's smash-and-grab Group E victory. Following their shock win over Germany, Japan were frustrated by a tight defensive unit before Fuller struck with Costa Rica's first shot on target at the tournament. That was sports news.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest, an interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
SLT Mobitel Enterprise from the National ICT Solutions Provider and undisputed tech leader recently unveiled the power of seamless fixed and mobile enterprise solutions as a one-stop total solution provider to transform businesses in the digital era. Today, enterprises demand solutions which are truly innovative and reliable, able to unlock growth, deliver profitability and superior customer experience while being future-ready. These businesses also continuously look for secure connectivity and digital platforms that will contribute to their efficiency and competitiveness. SLT Mobitel Enterprise combines island-wide fixed and mobile networks, delivering best-in-class integrated enterprise solutions, taking business intelligence to the next level.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest, an interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
And now in economic news, the Australian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka and the Maldives, Paul Stevens, made a courtesy call on the Board of Investment Chairman Raja Idrisuriya recently and exchanged views on Sri Lanka with respect to investment opportunities. During the discussions, the High Commissioner referred to the Australian investors who are seeking opportunities in the sectors such as renewable energy, mining and education. Further, the envoy proposed the opportunity for Sri Lanka to be a commodity hub for the value adding of Australian pulse nuts, grains and meat exports to South Asia and beyond. The High Commissioner also expressed commitment to work closely on areas of mutual interest. In response, the BOI chief acknowledged their presence and expressed gratitude for the helping hand extended to Sri Lanka at this crucial juncture. That was economic news, and now for the weather report. The Met Department says several spells of light showers will occur in the northern province. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in the Uva and southern provinces. Showers or thundershowers, meanwhile, may occur at a few places in the central, Sabaragamuwa and eastern provinces during the afternoon or night. Misty conditions can be expected in the Sabaragamuwa and central provinces and in the Galla and Matara districts during the morning. The weather report was issued at 4:30 a.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. Meanwhile, the international weather forecast website AccuWeather.com reports that the day's weather will be bright with occasional showers. Today's daytime temperature will be around 28 degrees Celsius. There will be light showers in many places in the Colombo district in the night. Tonight's temperature will be around 26 degrees Celsius and there will be scattered showers in select spots late in the night. The ground temperature would be 27 degrees Celsius at the time of this news broadcast. The air quality index AQI is 33, which shows a poor air condition in Colombo to a fair extent. The air quality is generally acceptable, however, for most individuals. Sensitive groups, however, may experience minor to moderate symptoms from long-term exposure. That was the weather report, and now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. Relief for big onion prices as special commodity levy rate reduced. Minister Ali Sabri met the Sri Lankan Bangladesh business community in Bangladesh. The Treasury rules out the conduct of parties and functions at state expenses to mark the retirement of public sector officials, opening ceremonies and the assuming of duty functions. Revenue increased in foreign mail division of the Postal Department. Power cuts increase for the next 2 days. Sri Lanka plans to end power cuts next year. Litro to release limited gas stocks to the market until Wednesday. In news overseas, Italy landslide, rescuers search for missing people on Ischia. In sports news, Japan failed to take another step towards the World Cup knockout rounds as Keisha Fuller's late goal earned Costa Rica a remarkable victory. That concludes this news broadcast.